All right. Um, lots of lots of reflection here, but I'll do my best to keep it concise and straight to the point. If you know me, you know I will talk and talk and talk. So I've written some notes down to kind of keep myself focused here. But I just wanted to share a 2023 reflection as a highlight for my 34th birthday, which this past Monday. So, first, I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes. I really, really, really appreciate it. As I stated, I turned 34 on Monday, the 29th, and 2023 was a pretty good year for me as far as business, self awareness, and self confidence. Those were like the main highlights for me. And back to the birthday wishes, I can say that I got the most texts and phone calls and messages on my birthday that I've gotten in a long, long time. So some people reached out that I hadn't talked to or heard from in a while. So that was really, really a blessing. But to stay on task, like I said, 2023 was a year of entrepreneurship and business, and then also self awareness and self confidence, in the same. So I'll start with business first. So for me in 2023, I finally I finally decided to get my LLC for my financial coaching business. So if you've seen me post or talk to me in person or even via social media, you know that I love to talk about money. I love to help people regarding financial management, financial literacy. I'll talk about it all day. So I have been helping people for a while, friends, and just answering random questions for people. But when it came down to actually um, realizing that coaching was, a sector of business, a sector of entrepreneurship, uh, I I just was kind of doing it for the love of the game per se. But as time passed, I was like, man, I want to take this serious. I actually want to build something with this. So I got my LLC about a year ago, um, in January last year. So for me, that was a mental reset as far as taking it serious. Yes, I didn't have to get my LLC. I could have just worked as a sole proprietorship, but I wanted to get my LLC to actually have, and I may be talking about this incorrectly, but for me, an LLC made it real. Got my business bank accounts set up. I started studying and learning about funnels and started learning about different um, platforms that I can do courses on. I started learning about creating programs and email marketing and all this stuff that I'm figuring out, even to this day. But it's been really, really fun to figure this stuff out. And with getting my LLC, I decided, okay, my program is still being developed. So I wanted to take on what some people call beta clients. So I wanted to take on some clients that I would help for free, essentially is what happened. And through that, I can get feedback and actually have the opportunity to develop my program while also helping some people. Um, Realizing and not being surprised if they were to say, hey, I think maybe this will work better, or maybe we need to do this next time. Because as I said, I was developing the program and really hoping that what came out of the relationships that I was creating and the partnerships that were developed between me and the clients would help me get to a developed program, and just a strategy as far as my sales and um, setting up consultations and all that stuff. And I can say that I did end up getting there. So the only thing that I learned was when you do offer services for free, it increases the chances. Not saying that it's always this case, but it increases the chances that the commitment, the sacrifice, and the program compliance is lower. And by that, I mean the client didn't necessarily have any skin in the game. Like for me, I'm going hard because it's my baby. I'm trying to turn this thing into something out of nothing. But when it came to their, the effort or the seriousness or actually utilizing the services that I was providing on the client side, like I said, it increased the chances of that being lower. So with that, I said, okay, I'm still going to help people and, go at their pace. If they don't do the calls on the frequency that I think they should, I'm still going to help when I can. So that happened. And since then, I have developed my program. I have created what they call lead magnets and working on figuring out how to get those out, but basically understanding lead creation. And it's just been a really, really cool journey. And now I do have 2 clients that I'm helping right now, paid. So that's been really cool. So I gotta, you do your sales, and you don't want to call it sales, but you're sharing with them a service that you provide that they may possibly need, and then it's up to them to say yes or no. It's not a sales thing where it's like, come on, like I can really do, what you need me to do. You really should do it. It's more like, hey, this is what I can do. This is what I have done. And I really think that you could benefit from this. And really, with the program that I have, the cost of the program is discounted with these first few clients, as I'm still like making little tweaks to perfect the program. But ultimately, even when it does get to the full price, the price of the program will pay for itself based on the plan that I create for you. I'm 100% sure that if I decide after the consultation that I can help you, then I can show you how what I give you can pay for the program within the next 6 months to a year, no problem. Because of the money that I'll help show you that you can save, the cash flow that I can help you realize, just based on organizing your finances and helping you learn new skills and eliminate debt that you're holding on to. I just really, really have faith in that. So I got to that point to where I didn't feel, you feel bad sometimes about handling business because you're a servant leader where you're serving others all the time. You're like, oh no, I'll take care of it. No problem. Don't worry about it. Well, like I said, you got to have some skin in the game to actually take the thing serious. And at the end of the day, the rate that you are charged, your ROI, your return on investment, will surpass the cost of the program in the end. So out in the business side of things here, recently doing some coaching calls and even via text on a previous client that I helped in the past, they said some things to me, and it's stuff that I'll never forget. And I actually had to hold myself together on the call because when you're working in your purpose and when you're working in your calling, you don't know the impact that you're really having until somebody tells you or shares with you how impactful you have been. So one client said, Rod, you're changing our household. You're changing the future for our kids. And that was very recent. And that's the one that really had me like, whew. Because we were just, having a conversation like, all right, action item A, we did this, we did that. Action item B, you did well on this. Maybe we need to go back and fix X, we're just flowing as far as conversation, just, typical business. But I had kind of reached a point where I was dealing with some feelings of like, hey, am I doing enough quick enough? Am I impacting as much as I need to? And this person reassured me like, I saw your post about you being unsure about your impact. And I want to tell you that you are impacting immensely for me. And I know you're doing this for others. So when they said that I was changing their household and changing the future for their children, whoo, boy, that was a blessing. That was some reassurance that I was doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm going to keep pushing forward. And the next person said that, and I talk to this person all the time, just on and off, just doing check-ins, and we were just texting, and they were like, "You changed my life!" exclamation point. I have told you this before. Like, this isn't the first time they told me this. I still mention you to people all the time. So those were just signs for me from God that, man, just keep going, keep doing your thing. So I have a goal on helping at least 10 clients this year and seeing what I can do there as far as program development and improvement. I have goals to create a coaching class and do group coaching with group coaching calls. I just have a lot of goals that I know I can get to. And you see other people doing things that you're like, I mean, just to yourself, and Lord keep me humble, but you're just like, man, my personality is cooler than theirs, or like man, I dress better than that, or whatever it may be. You're like, man, if they can do it, I can do it too. It's just that they are consistent, they are focused, they are driven, and they have a plan. So that's the stuff that some people lack with great personalities, or people that dress well, or people that can speak well, or don't have a problem talking to a lens, or talking to a group of 3,000 people, which I don't have a problem doing, especially if I'm prepared. Like, don't let me get prepared and get on stage or get in front of people. I'm probably gonna light it up. And I do have goals on being on stages, small and large, whether it's leading a small Bible study or it's talking in front of thousands of people. Um, I see myself in those places. All right, let's get into some serious stuff. So this is the part where I said in 2023 it was a year of like self confidence and self awareness, intentional self confidence, improvement and self awareness, improvement. And this is some, I don't know if I just said this a second ago, but it's some vulnerable stuff. But I don't mind sharing because it may facilitate a conversation. But yeah, so 2023 back in like March or April, I was like, man, I'm going to start boxing this year. And I was like, man, I'm taking on boxing so I can get comfortable with my hands. Like, I've never really been a fighter. Like, I'm just a chill guy, humble guy. Um, I never really been in too many altercations, but I just was like, man, I'm gonna get in boxing just to kind of like for fitness, but really to like get comfortable with. If I have to throw some hands, I can throw some hands, regardless. But really, each time I went was like a counseling session for me. Growing up and in adulthood, I was and still am not like a naturally aggressive person. It's just not my nature. And I started to realize that I'm very slow or unprepared to act when I have like a situation where I need to verbally speak up, or a rare physical situation would occur. I was very slow or unprepared. Like, I don't have that quickness. I'm not swift with my words as some people are. So I started to kind of think about that more and realize that that's dangerous for me alone, but also especially now that I have a wife and a daughter, it's even more dangerous if I'm not on my toes, if you get what I mean. I started to understand that this slowness and unpreparedness resulted from a mental and psychological defense mechanism developed as I grew up and as a child, from having to tell myself, hey, everything's going to be all right. Those type of phrases, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Um, During tough days or during situations where I saw something wrong going on or something wrong happening and I couldn't do anything about it, you have to find ways to cope. You have to find ways to um, make yourself feel better, or make yourself feel like everything's going to be okay. Which is where I think that even today, I'm trying to get rid of this, but growing up, I would boast about, oh man, I'm chill. Nothing shakes me. Nothing can make me kind of leave a steady and calm tone as far as like anger or sadness, or like nothing bothers me. And thinking that was like this thing that was something to brag about. What really happened is this impacted my life skill of emotion activation. So emotion activation is literally what it says. Like in certain moments, you need to be able to activate certain emotions in certain moments. And I didn't have that. And I'm still working on that as we sit here today. Um, and I realize it's not healthy in more ways than I care to share here. Um, but it is not nothing to boast about. It's not something to boast about if you can't activate your emotions when needed. Um, and just for example, here I just got some notes to try to keep me on track, and I know I'm 17 minutes in, but um, what if I need to speak up because someone keeps cutting me off, whether it be, in general conversation or um, at my workplace, or what if someone says something? I'm being very specific here because it's actually happened at a previous employer. Let me state that at a previous employer. I love where I work right now. But what if someone says something racist to me in the workplace and I need to speak up about it? And this actually, like I said, this actually happened to me early in my career. Um, Probably about year 3 after college, somebody said it was, it was, it was after the Trayvon Martin situation happened. In my field of work, I'm usually the only person that looks like me, on a team of, I mean, it could be a team of 10 people, it could be a team of 20 people, but usually I'm the only one that, only black person in the room. And I came into the office for a meeting from the field. So I work in construction management, right? So we're outside, it's cold. So that day I had on a sweatshirt or a hoodie. I think it was a hoodie, which is where I think the comment came from. But I'm outside all day, ears cold. So wear a hoodie, put your hard hat on, to kind of like keep you warm while you're out there doing your job. But came into the office. I'm in a meeting. I shouldn't have had my hood up, but that's besides the point. I'm not justifying the comment. But like I said, only one in the room, and a management level person or somebody that was my manager says, and this is after Trayvon Martin got killed, walking wherever he was walking with some candy, had a hood on, gets killed. The guy says, Rod, what's going on over there? You going Trayvon Martin on this? Boy. And that was one of those situations where the first thing I did was like think to myself, like, no, I actually said it. I said, what did you just say? And everybody kind of was like looking in or laughing because, like I said, there may have been some, I don't even know the right words to use around, this conversation, but there was just some ignorance in the room about the understanding of how that was insulting in a racist comment. It just was. And one guy was in the room that I was cool with, and he did not look like me, but he understood what was said and how, because he was like, he was the only one that kind of made that face. But ultimately, to not, make the conversation too long around that topic, called my wife, of course, like, man, I got to tell you what this dude just said. And ultimately had to get coached up by her to, go and talk to the guy about it. And he acted surprised and all that. Anyway, you mention stuff or you confront people about stuff, and they're like, "Oh my God, I would have never," Well, you did, and you should know better. That's what I think. As an adult, you should know not to say something like that. But anyway, getting back to the point, talking about what if I need to activate my emotions when needed. What if I need to speak up when somebody's cutting me off, or what if I need to confront somebody about saying something like, racist to me or around me, and needed to speak up about it. And in that situation, it took me all day to go over there and talk to him because I didn't know what to say. And as I stated, I was slow or unprepared when the original statement was made. Um, what if I actually had to physically prevent someone from harming myself or my family? So, self regulation and emotional activation of our anger, peace, calmness, sadness, and other emotions are very, very, very important. And what changed this for me, or what changed my assertiveness and um, my goal to change this was scripture. So, what I learned was it takes scripture to change me. And I was reminded of that through this awareness experience that I took on last year. Um, but Leviticus 19 and 18 says, "Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord." So the last part is what got me. So first of all, this verse doesn't speak on this, but first of all, we are to um, love our God with all our mind, soul, heart, with all of our being. And then secondly, to love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So really, I say second is love yourself as the Lord loves you, and then you're able to love your neighbor accordingly. So from that, I asked myself this: how much do you love yourself? I mean, imagine yourself looking in the mirror. How much do you love yourself? Do you love yourself enough to activate enough calmness or anger when needed? Do you love yourself enough to properly manage, for example, your finances enough to increase your chances of obtaining wealth for yourself and then for your children's children, which is also stated in the word? And then also, do you love yourself enough to remove toxic relationships from your life? And I really had to sit on that because it took me down a journey of like, okay, in what areas am I not treating myself properly? Because if I don't treat myself properly, what makes me think I'll do any of that for my wife and kids? It just doesn't work that way. You're not going to do something for somebody else that you don't do for yourself. It's like it's like the airplane analogy when you're flying and they're saying, "Hey, save yourself first. Pull the mask out. When the mask drop, you need to put on your mask first, and then you can revitalize yourself enough to where you are coherent enough to help others near you, family, friends, whoever it may be." But I really had to sit on that and realize, like, hey, man, like, you can't be walking around here not speaking up for yourself when needed. Um, and no one's out here looking for physical altercations, but in the event that something does happen, even just making an attempt to like stop or prevent or um, diffuse situations associated with yourself and or with family, this increases the chances of, if you do it for yourself and you love yourself properly according to what God says, then by any means you will increase the chances that you will do it for other people. Now I understand that when we have children and spouses, that our love for them may outweigh our love for ourselves. I don't want to say it's human nature, but I feel like it's human nature that you'll protect others before you protect yourself. But when you really sit down and think about that, it doesn't make sense, because if you were to allow yourself to be, I think about this a lot when I'm driving, and I'm like, hey, put your seatbelt on. If something happens and you don't have your seatbelt on, then how can you, come back to consciousness and help if your daughter or your wife is also unconscious? Like, how can you help them if you don't protect yourself? But um, that's where I am right now as I develop like healthy anger and um, healthy moments of actually having the feelings of being mad about situations or about things that may be going on and things that happen. I'm now having to learn how not to suppress it at the mercy of others. So that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But suppression for men is a really big deal, because either we weren't taught how to express ourselves or communicate our anger, or we are told we're supposed to be calm and relaxed, and we set the temperature in the room. Those types of phrases are put on us, and it can make you feel like you're not supposed to be angry, or you're not supposed to say things that may hurt people, even if you're hurt. So that's something that's been addressed um, day to day as we speak. So 26 minutes, y'all. To say 2023 was monumental would be an understatement. My life was changed in entrepreneurship and in my life in general, and then also in career, that's also another conversation that I can have. But as stated above, I appreciate all the love on my birthday. Got my notes here, so trying to make sure I don't forget nothing. But I appreciate all the love for my birthday, and just thought I would share how last year impacted me, and looking forward to all that 34 has to offer. So appreciate y'all for listening, and if you made it here, beautiful. But see y'all on the next one.